Hello Internet, and welcome back to Learning with Sky, where today we're asking the age-old question, what the heck do I study in college or university? And thanks for coming back to learn something with me. Today we are talking about college and university. So now that I have tons of time on my hands and all I do is apply for jobs and make YouTube videos, I've been reflecting a lot on all the choices I made as an undergrad and as a graduate student. And I've been thinking about all the things I wish I knew when I was 18, 19, 20, basically all through college. So I've compiled a list of my 5 best pieces of advice for those of you out there trying to decide what to study. So before we start with the advice, I'm going to give you a basic rundown of my own personal experience. Basically, when I was in high school, I had lots and lots of dreams of all the things I was going to study, but ended up in the sciences. So when I started college, I came in as physics and pre-med. Lucky for me, I went to a basic liberal arts college, which will come back later. So it was very easy when I decided almost immediately to drop the pre-med right out the equation. Dropped biology and went straight physics engineering. That lasted about a semester when I realized that science just wasn't for me. So then I decided to try political science. I took one class in political science and immediately realized it was not for me. Then I went back to my first love, English language and literature. I'd always loved it in high school, I won an award for it and thought, this is perfect. Took a couple classes in it and then thought, what am I really gonna do with a degree in English? Why don't I try psychology? Lots of my friends were studying psychology. I'd always thought it was interesting. All the while I was changing all these majors, I kept Spanish as a backup plan. Basically, it was a minor that I kind of wanted to be a major. I wasn't entirely sure. I'd always been really into Spanish. My mom is half Mexican and I just really wanted to be fluent. Spanish just kind of riding there in the background. Finished about a year of psychology, realized there were way too many requirements and I might not graduate in 4 years, and switched over to anthropology. I ended up majoring in it because it only required 7 classes, knocking psychology down to a minor and keeping Spanish as a minor because I was 1 class away from a Spanish major. So at the end of it all, I graduated in 4 years with a bachelor's degree in anthropology with a minor in Spanish and psychology. And you might be asking yourself, what do you even do with that? And the answer is, I have no idea, because I moved to Spain, taught English as a second language for 2 years, came back to the US, taught at a university again, decided I didn't want to be a teacher, applied to grad school, and did a master's in media and communications in London. Now I am currently looking for a job in media and communications, even though I have no practical experience. So all of those changes of major and study and career have led me to this point where I can share all I've learned with you. So let's start with my 5 best pieces of advice. Number 1 is that it's okay if you don't know what you want to do going into college, and it is also okay if you do. If you do know what you want to do, it'll make it a lot easier to pick a school. Because if you want to study science, you go to a school with a really good science program. You know you want to be a lawyer, you go to a school with a lot of really good pre-law, maybe even a good law school, so you can just slip right in after you graduate. Makes life a lot easier. But it's also totally okay if you don't. My best advice is if you don't know what you want to do, you do what I did and go to a basic liberal arts school with a core curriculum, which is tip number 2. You get the opportunity to take classes in all different departments. And if you change your major as much as I did, it's okay because a lot of those different classes you took within the major also count towards your core curriculum. Tip number 3 is one that I did not follow, and now I really wish I had, and that is to intern. Changing majors and taking classes in different departments is all well and good, and I definitely recommend it. But nothing is quite like getting the actual work experience. And a lot of majors don't lead to a direct job anyway. So if you're an English major and think you might be interested in publishing, maybe pick up an internship at a publishing house and see if you really like it. It'll give you a great experience, make it easier to get a job, and you might find out things that you don't actually practically want to do before you get an entire degree in it. So definitely, intern. Please intern. I wish I had interned. Piece of advice number 4 is that it's okay to change your mind in and out of school. In school, you can change your major. We've got things like minors and double majors where you can try multiple things at once. And not everyone finishes college in 4 years. Some people go to community college for 2 years and then transfer into school to save money and try different things out. Some people take a 5th year. And if you're not going to put yourself in a sea of debt, then that's okay. You can also change your mind after you've already graduated. And I am proof perfect of that. It is okay to change your mind. Number 5 is the best piece of advice I was ever given as a student. And that is the job you you end up with might not even exist yet. And that is definitely true for me. When I was an undergrad, I was obsessed with title jobs. My mom always said, "Shannon, you're so smart. You could be a doctor, a lawyer, an Indian chief." And that's all I could see. Right now, I'm looking at a lot of jobs in social media marketing. And in 2009, when I was a freshman in college, Instagram and Twitter weren't even really a thing yet. And social media marketing definitely was not. But try not to be so obsessed with what title you're gonna have as a job. Think about all the different options, which comes back to interning, because the best way to explore what's out there is to actually see in the real world. I'm repeating it again because I really wish that I had interned in school, and I am still kicking myself at 26 years old that I didn't. So those are all my pieces of advice for those of you out there who are thinking about what to study in college or university, thinking about going back to school, or a whole host of different things that could involve choosing what to do with the rest of your life. Now, for those of you who need some practical advice, the next part of this video is me breaking down all of the general departments and disciplines within university, and the types of things you can do with different types of degrees. I also would like to put out a disclaimer that this is not an exhaustive list. This is by no means everything you can study. This is just the general stuff that I thought would have been useful to 18-year-old Shannon. So if you're interested in that, just keep on watching. So we're going to start at your basic liberal arts institution. So within a basic liberal arts institution, there are various disciplines that you can study. So we're going to start with 5 of the major ones. The first being the arts and humanities. Then we have the social sciences. Then we have hard sciences and mathematics. We have foreign language and literature. And we've got big business. There are more disciplines in most institutions, but these are the basic ones that I'm going to start with today. So first we have the arts and humanities. So within the arts and humanities, we have majors like art history, English language and literature, history, etc. Now, if you study the arts and humanities, what can you do with it? Some people go and get a master's or a PhD. Some people intern and start some sort of profession, maybe in publishing or government. Some people go into education and become teachers. And some people go to law school. Again, there are more options, but this is the general arts and humanities track. Then we have the social sciences. Within social science, we have things like psychology, sociology, anthropology, media and communications, which at some schools may be its own discipline, but I'm going to stick it in here for ease, political science, and then things like gender studies. Many schools will break up these disciplines out of the social sciences, but this is one of the broadest disciplines as far as I know. Now, if you study social science, you may go into a profession, which I'm going to call ologists, i.e. psychologists, sociologists, anthropologists, political scientists. These people get masters, PhDs, and they either go into a profession or they go into teaching. Some people intern and get into a profession. So for example, if we break up media and communications, you could become a journalist, you could become a social media professional, you could go into video and film, you could be a writer, etc. Next up, we have the hard sciences. I don't love that they're called the hard sciences in mathematics, but that's what we're just gonna call it for today. In the hard sciences and mathematics, we have obviously math majors like statistics or calculus. We've got physics, chemistry, biology. Then I'm gonna stick in here computer and information sciences, engineering, and like many other disciplines, there are more specific majors within these larger bodies of study. So if you get a degree in hard sciences and math, like many degrees, you could get a master's of science and a PhD again and become a professional, i.e. a scientist or a researcher. You could go into education, or you can go the med school route or vet school. Or if you study engineering, you can become an engineer, or you can go into the booming tech industry, which I can tell you from personal experience, there are lots and lots of jobs in here. You can do website design, coding, etc. So if you study computer and information sciences, there are jobs galore. Next, we have foreign languages and literature. Lots of people, like myself, choose foreign languages and literature as a minor or as a second major. However, lots of people choose them as their only major too. Within foreign languages and literature, you could study things like Spanish, French, Arabic, Mandarin, etc. Now, a degree in foreign languages and literature can increase whatever profession you want to do. So it could just be an added bonus, like, oh, I'm fluent in another language. Many people will study abroad. You could become a translator. Again, education. You could get a master's. and a PhD, or you could work for the government. Within the government, it is especially useful to know Arabic and Mandarin. Finally, we have business, which I find to be the most popular major that people's parents want them to have, including mine. Within business, you have things like finance, accounting, marketing, etc. And lots of people say that if you study business, you will make money, which is probably true if you work hard and you get a great internship. So like a lot of jobs, business requires that you intern and then you go into some sort of profession, whether it be accounting, finance, marketing, Wall Street, whatever. Some people will go and get an MBA. You could also get a PhD and teach. As usual, you could go into education. My favorite way to use business is if you want to become an entrepreneur. Business savvy is very useful. So now that you know all the possibilities, good luck. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you found this video interesting and informative. 18-year-old Shannon could have really used a video like this because I had no idea all the possibilities, and so I spent a lot of time taking classes that I may or may not have needed when I really should have been trying to explore the real working world. As usual, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to this channel. And finally, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you want to study, or have studied, or will study in university. And let me know what pieces of advice you have for people thinking about what to study or what to do as a career. I could use the advice, and I'm sure plenty of other people out there could too. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye! We're in university now. So it was very easy for me to be me. So it was very easily. So those are all my pieces of advice.